It's March 13th, 2010, 12:40 p.m. on a Saturday. Steve and I have come over here to the north side of Highway 410 and found a nice tucked away spot back here in the forest, Snoqualmie National Forest. And you can probably hear the creek. That's either part of Greenwater River or a creek that feeds the river. Little narrow forest road that ends right here. Beautiful view of the mountains. We're going to be setting up here for the night, a one-night ambush setup, as always. Looks like it was a failed attempt at a four-wheel drive little road here. It looks like it peters out right up there. Beautiful view of the mountains here. We'll be spending the night here setting up. It's a nice sunny day. The sun's been peeking in and out all morning. Should be interesting. This is a new place we're going to try out on the other side of the highway. Alright. Hopefully we'll be back later with something interesting. Once again, it's March 13th, 2010, and now it's 3:06 p.m. We're all set up. Audio and video, along with motion sensors. We're just kind of cleaning the camp up a little bit. So I just wanted to walk through what we got set up. A lot of it's the same that we always do. This time we have audio microphones in the tree line on either side of the van, and two sets of speakers in the van to listen to anything going on in the woods on either side of the van. So we figure the creek side, which is over here, and then the wooded side over here, is just the two places we chose. We have motion sensor number 1, number 2, number 3 is over there on the hill, and number 4 is on the hill over here. So we're covered all the way around. Anything walks into camp, we know it. We got 3 floodlights on top of the van as usual in 3 areas. The front of the van will not have a floodlight. We consider this the least likely area of approach, which would be right down the middle of the road. Not that couldn't happen, but it's the least likely. Most likely probably from the creek, because we think they always follow the creeks. Either for one of a few reasons: water source, obviously, for drinking, following and hunting prey that's going to water sources, and as a navigational aid, maybe for the Sasquatch. Keeps his bearings by following the creeks. That's just speculation, but you know. Alright, so we get the 3 floodlights. We have 1 infrared security camera watching the road. And we have 4 other cameras on different sides of the van as normal. We got 1 right there. We got 1 here on the back right corner. Right there. You can hear the zone alarm going off as I'm walking and violating the zones, which is good. We know they're working. And we got a camera there. And lastly, we have a camera on the other side of the luggage rack, right below the floodlight there. Right there, right below the floodlight. So we got every angle covered. And last but not least, we always have our standoff camera, which gives an overview of the camp as opposed to directional specific. And that's that guy right there on the tripod. That is watching the entire camp. Other cameras have specific functions as directions we want to monitor. Okay, audio. two 100-foot audio cables.
First time for dual audio.
First time for dual audio.
Stereo camp.
Yeah, we got audio cable running out of this side of the van, running down up the hill, probably about 30-40 feet into the woods on top of the ridge there. We think that it's the optimum area to view us. A predator would want to view from a safe distance and also from the high ground. So anything making any noise up there, walking through, snapping twigs or whatever. I won't go all the way up there again, but it's up there about 10 foot up or 8 feet up in a tree, hanging down. We have, for the first time, a second audio line here coming out of the van, going down about 20-30 feet from the creek. So we're going to hear the babbling creek in the speakers in the van. We knew that was going to be a drawback to being close to the creek, but we like being close to water sources. Real quick, I'll just take you in the van and show you basically the setup. There's Steve. Say hi, Steve.
Hey, how you doing?
We got our audio-visual control panel here. As usual, 4-camera first alert system, mini DVR1, mini DVR2, CD player to play the noises of the animals, goats, amplifier, switch to switch from different views. And if you can see, this is a 4-camera system scrolling through each angle that the cameras are looking at. It's cycling through the 4 smaller cameras on top of the van. And then, that's 4 of them. If I go to this switch here, that is a camera on the hood of the van looking down the road, anything approaching the road. And lastly, the overview camera, which is, as you can see, gives you a view of the entire campsite. There's Steve walking out there. So we're covered at every single angle. Inside the van we got set of speakers number 1 and speakers number 2 to monitor the audio. We simply have the input here from the audio cable going into the mic jack and the output here going to the speakers. So if I were to turn this on, I'll give you an example what we're going to hear. Turn the speakers on, obviously, that would help. We're always trying to conserve power. Little static and a little sound of the babbling brook down there. We'll be monitoring this all night. That's from the driver's side of the van, passenger side of the van. We have another set of speakers here and another digital recorder, which I'll flick on here. And power it up. We have power down here coming from the other side of the van where the power plugs are. And if I go to record, a little feedback hum, but that's everything going on up in the ridge. Hey Steve, you want to yell something out there?
Go to wasser.com for more information.
Yeah, that's Steve's voice carrying up to the ridge. Go to wasser.com for more information. So, we button the van up at night. We're expecting a night visit. I should say, if we're going to get a visit, we expect it to be at night. We'll be inside the van buttoned up, the windows blacked out as usual. Give the impression either it's an abandoned vehicle or us pink monkeys are asleep in the vehicle. We'll have our bait out, and they're big enough to take down deer and elk. So the sound of a goat, that's kind of unusual. Maybe it'll serve 2 purposes. It'll be so unusual that it'll come and investigate it, or it'll recognize it as an animal and come investigate it, hoping to get a free meal. Who knows? We're going to experiment with different sounds, maybe deer and elk calls and stuff like that as well. We don't see bear. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they have an unspoken truce that Bigfoot has its territories and bears have theirs. Who knows? But we take the risk of bears and cougar. We don't care. That's fine. So that's going to be all for now. It's 3:15. We got 2-3 hours of light left, and then we're going to be buttoned up for the night. I'm hoping we get some kind of visitation. Alright, that's it for now.